Hello everyone, my name is Sydney and today I'm going to be discussing Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 5th book in the Installation of the Throne of Glass series. This is a mammoth of a book. It is so freaking big that sometimes when I'm reading such a big book, I can feel a bit overwhelmed because it's so long. And to be honest with you, reading this book, there were parts where I was a bit like, oh, it's getting a bit too long here. And it kind of lost my attention for little bits. But that being said, there was so much that happened in this book. This series really highlights strength, the beauty of people standing out and not being afraid to fight for what they believe in and to make a difference. So I suggest reading this book. It's fantastic. Even if it was a little bit slow in parts, it was fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna go straight into spoilers. So if you haven't read it, go do that, come back and we will talk. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Far out, there was so much that happened in this. I don't even know where to begin. So on page 141, this made me think of Game of Thrones, like hardcore. As if she were blowing out a candle, Aileen exhaled a breath towards the man. First the commander went quiet, as if every thought, every feeling had halted. Then his body seemed to stiffen, like he'd been turned to stone. And for a heartbeat, Aiden thought the man had been turned to stone, as his skin, his Adelanian uniform turned varying shades of grey. But as the sea breeze brushed past and the man simply fell apart into nothing but ashes, Aiden realised with no small amount of shock what she had done. She'd burned him alive, from the inside out. Someone screamed. Aileen merely said, "I warned you." A few soldiers now bolted, but most held their ground, hate and disgust shining in their eyes at the magic, at his queen, at him. So I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but it made me think towards a certain scene about Daenerys and her dragons. And that's all I'm going to say, so epicness. Epic. Who is she? I really enjoyed watching Elide and Lorcan's story unfolding as this book went along, and I actually started to really ship them together. I just wanted to remind you of this page 477. Lorcan reached out, grasping her chin and forcing her to look at him. Hopeless, bleak eyes met his. He brushed away a stray tear with his thumb. "I made a promise to protect you. I will not break it, Elide." She made to pull away, but he gripped her a little harder, keeping her eyes on him. "I will always find you," he swore to her. Her throat bobbed. Lorcan whispered, "I promise." So beautiful! What happened? It was really disappointing at the end, finding out that Lorcan is so attached to Maeve that he kept choosing Maeve over Elide, especially at the end when he was on his knees, literally begging Maeve to take him back on 668. Lorcan couldn't seem to move, to think or breathe. He tried crawling though, towards Maeve. The bastard tried crawling. Yeah, that was stupid. I'm not even gonna go there. Let's just move on. I have a feeling it's gonna work out, okay? They're gonna get back together. Things will work out. There'll be kissing involved. There might be a sex scene there later. I'm making some predictions. Let's just see if they come true. Ooh. So this was epic between Elide and Lorcan. Elide had a moment of standing her ground and being all like, "Lorcan, you cannot speak to me like this. So on page 414, you know what is the biggest lie you tell everyone? It's that you prefer it that way. But what I hear, what you rant about, my bitch queen, all I hear are the words of someone who is deeply, deeply jealous and lonely and pathetic. All I hear are the words of someone who saw Aileen and Prince Rowan fall in love and resented them for their happiness because you are so unhappy. So call Aileen a murderer and a thief and a liar. Call her a bitch queen and a fire breather, but forgive me if I take it upon myself to be the judge of those things when I meet her, which I will do. I'm going to Ilway. Take me ashore and I'll wash my hands of you as easily as you wash the blood of that man off yours.
I like her a lot. She's good.
So Manon in this was freaking incredible. She is badass the entire way through, and I cannot express how much I love her. She's literally my favorite character in this. Manon was the one that I was like dying for. I just wanted more of her whilst reading this, and I'm happy that we got her in this. We got a lot of her. But yeah, honestly, her scenes and Alita Malkin's scenes were the ones that I was really interested in reading, which is interesting because when it came to Rowan and Aileen, I was a little bit bored because obviously they're not my favorite ship, and like it's already been done, we know that they're together, so it just got a bit, you know, same. But far out, Manon's storyline was freaking incredible. I was so pissed at her grandmother when she turned around, and instead of Manon being the one to have the life sentence, instead her grandmother turned around and was like, okay, so Manon, you're free of it, but because one life was taken, one life from your clan has to be taken also. So Astrid, it's gonna be you. Oh my god, this entire scene I could not stop reading. Oh my god, just thinking back to it, I was like, holy shit. Reading the end of 15 was hilarious for me because I was reading it on the train, and obviously what happened was Manon was there and she turned around and instead brought her wind cleaver down on her grandmother. That's how the chapter ended. And because I've been waiting for this moment for so fucking long, I've been waiting for this, I literally started smirking in my seat, and it was a packed train, so I was like, Sidney, you gotta hold this together, you gotta hold this together. But I was so excited. I've been waiting for her to kill her grandmother for so fucking long. So when I was reading that, oh my god, my dog has gone nachos. But then she actually didn't kill her, which kind of sucks. But that means with the last book, there is going to be a massive scene between Manon and her grandmother, and I am so keen for that. That is going to be the scene that I'm waiting for. Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. So, it was super interesting to find out that Manon is a Crotchin queen, because now we've got a Crotchin queen and we've got Aileen, who is queen, and they are basically on the same side. That is freaking sick. So obviously, like, it was awesome, the scene where Lysandra came in as Aileen, pretending to be her in front of Captain Rolfe. They were just far out. Aileen is so freaking cheeky. She is so cheeky. I loved this on page 244. Aileen and Aline looked at each other. The one in black grinned up at the newcomer. Oh, you are gorgeous, aren't you? The one in green smiled, but for all its delight, all its wicked mischief. It was a softer smile. This is obviously Lysandra. It was a softer smile, made with a mouth that was perhaps less used to snarling and teeth-baring and getting away with saying hideous, swaggering things. Lysandra then. The two queens faced Rolfe. So good. So Lysandra was another character in this book that I just freaking loved, and I can't express to you how much she has evolved. She is a character that has just become out of this world, being a shapeshifter, and the things that she now can shapeshift into seriously is epic. Becoming a sea dragon, learning how to become a sea dragon. So on page 310, this page was fantastic, so I'm just gonna read some of it to you because I loved it. A mighty long shadow swept under the water ahead of the sea dragon, faster than the ship. faster than a dolphin. Its long serpentine body soared through the sea, carried on wings that might have also been fins. Adian's heart stopped dead. "It's a sea dragon," he managed to say. Well, at least he now knew what secret form Lysandra had been working on, and why Aileen had insisted on getting inside Brennan's temple. Not just to see the king, not just to reclaim the city for the Mycenaeans and Terrassen, but for Lysandra to study the life-size detailed carvings of those sea dragons, to become a living myth. The two of them, oh, those crafty scheming devils, a queen of legends indeed. So good. And this was also such a beautiful descriptive part I loved also on that page. The water was warm and quiet and ageless, and she was the scaled shadow that set the jewel-coloured fish darting into their coral homes. She was a soaring menace through the water that made the white birds bobbing on the surface scatter into flight as they sensed her passing below. Sunbeams streamed in pillars through the water, and Lysandra, in the small part of her that remained human, felt as if she were gliding through a temple of light and shadow. I love how Lysandra has developed, and I love the whole thing between her and Adian. I think they will be a beautiful thing together, but I just hope Adian gets off his horse and stops being such an ass sometimes. But Lysandra is fantastic. Like, she is fantastic. Something I loved about this book was it was very mature, and I think that's such a great thing to read a book that has a type of maturity about it. So this book did have sex scenes, which obviously for some people would have been a bit intense and maybe unnecessary. The ones between Manon and Dorian were freaking saucy as hell, and come on, we were all waiting for that. We were all waiting for that, come on. But also, other than that, I thought it was fantastic that Sarah J. Maas actually, she made a note of women having periods. It's such a natural thing that we all get, and I loved that she actually addressed it through a lead. There was a part where a lead was subtly saying that she was on her rags, which is an Australian way of saying that you're on your period. I'm not sure if you guys know that. Now you do if you didn't. And that was a beautiful moment because she didn't have any pads, she didn't have anything to use. So it was beautiful that at the end of that chapter, Lorcan, he had ripped his sheet into pieces and left the pieces out for her to use. And I thought that was actually such a sweet moment because it really showed that Lorcan does not care. He does not care about something that is so natural and something that happens to all of us women. He didn't care. And I think that it's important that people don't care about it. They shouldn't be so anxious about women having it or be grossed out by it, because it isn't something that we should be grossed out about. It's something beautiful, even if it is so annoying and it can be highly intense for many people. It's pretty crazy, but I actually loved that Sarah addressed this. So another scene which was epic was when Aileen incinerated 500 Ilkin. Oh my god. I don't know how the hell Lorcan and Elide survived under his barrier. To be honest, I think that was a bit iffy. For me, I was a bit like, oh, I don't think they would have survived that. But the fact that she did kill that many was freaking awesome. And so then when Elide and Aileen met, that was a moment I think we were all waiting for as well. And it was such a beautiful moment. The whole battle between Maeve and Aileen's cohort, that was just insane. I loved the fact that Rowan, he shapeshifted and went to his family who were on separate boats of Maeve's, and he went to them and was asking them if they would turn and join their side. And the fact that they did was incredible and so beautiful. I also loved the fact that there was such a long time where Abraxas was gone. And I actually, because I love Manon and I love their relationship too, I was freaking out going, oh my god, where's Abraxas? I hope he comes back. What's going on? So when he did show up, 637, there was a roar of rage that echoed it. That roar sounded again as a mighty shape shot down from the heavy clouds. A wyvern with shimmering wings, and behind it, descending upon the Fey fleet with wicked delight, flew 12 others. I loved it. It was so good and it made me so happy because we know Astron's alive. We know that Abraxas is alive and they are fucking here fighting on their side, and I am so freaking down for it. So I found this scene so freaking intense when they were whipping Aileen, because Aileen has fucking been through that already, right? She wasn't counting and she was just letting it happen, and just reading it you were like, ah, ugh. And so now we have Rowan, who is going to go find her. He's going to fight for her, and I'm also so excited to see that. As well as we now have massive alliances. As if they were a signal, more white-clad figures filled the dunes behind them. Dozens, hundreds. Rowan wondered if every single assassin from that desert keep had come to honour their debt to the young woman. A lethal legion in themselves. And Galen? Rowan turned to the Crown Prince of Wendelin. How many, he asked. How many did you bring? Galen only smiled a bit and pointed to the eastern horizon, where white sails now broke over its rim. Ship after ship after ship, each bearing the cobalt flag of Wendelin. Holy shit, they have no idea that Lysandra isn't Aileen. Lysandra, we saw that she can shapeshift into Aileen now. And there was a whole freaking purpose to that, learning everything about her, how she smiles, how she talks, learning everything to the point that it came right down to this, where Aileen knew that Maeve was going to take her in the end. And that Lysandra was going to have to pretend to be Aileen to keep the alliances formed and to keep the battle going strong. I was like, holy shit, everything is just making sense. Sarah has put this up for us in such an incredible way. Fucking so smart. The fact that they are all here to fight for her is freaking so cool. I just do wish that Maeve was on her side as well, because she is the queen of Fae. It would have been incredible for all of them to be on her side also, because Aileen is half Fae, and when you think about it, it's quite odd that they wouldn't be on her side. We all know that Aileen is freaking crazy, and I actually don't think that she's going to die. There was this whole thing at the end of them saying that Aileen has to die for them in order for everything to work out. But I actually don't know about that. I feel like there could be another way. But I love when there are plot twists like this. I find it more realistic when people that we do love die. Or when an author can take the plot somewhere where it is completely unpredictable and unexpected. On page 674, Aileen Galathinius willingly handed over her freedom so an iron-teeth witch could walk free, Manon said. Elide straightened, pulling from Astron's arms, but Manon continued. We owe her a life debt, and more than that. It is time that we became better than our foremothers. We are all children of this land. I am going to find the Kochs, and I am going to raise an army with them for Aileen Galathinius and her people and for ours. Epicness she's going to be. Fantastic in the last book. I love Doreen, you all knew this. And on page 686, here we go. He's also going to be fucking badass. Just you wait. The witches fly north, Dorian said, and I will go with them to see if I can do what needs to be done. Dorian shook his head. If you go after Maeve, the keys should be kept far away. If I can help by doing this, by finding the third, I will serve you better that way. Oh my god! Look at that jam! Dorian and Manon my new ship goals, my new faves, my loves. I love them. I like them quite a bit. But anyway, the next books, which are 2 more Tower of Dawn, and I don't know what the next one is going to be called. Oh my god, they're going to be epic. They're going to be epic. And I'm so here for it. If you've come all this way and you haven't read this book, that's all G. I hope you enjoyed this spoilery review. But I really do hope that you go and read the series for yourself because it really is fantastic. But also, if you have read this book, what do you think is going to happen in the last book? Not Tower of Dawn, because in a way I don't really care about Cal, let's be real. And I was a little bit like, yes, he wasn't in this. But that book's going to be fantastic too. And I'm excited to read it. But what do you guys think is going to happen in the last book, the 7th book? What do we think? Hope you enjoyed this book talk. I'll see you guys next time. As usual, bye! Bye.